I've come to realize that there's a symbolic advantage that comes from this. It makes it a better place to work, a place that we're all proud of, because the place that we work is really consistent with our values. We had a building that was 30 years old, starting to age. We were needing to consider all kinds of replacements in the building. And that really was beginning to come to a head in about 2008, 2009, 2010. What drove this was our bills were going up for maintenance, our bills were going up for power and for gas and for water. We wanted to bring those into line. We wanted to bring the building back into the modern era. And what we had was a great coming together of two needs: the need to do replacement and the executive orders about sustainable buildings. And so in that time frame, we were able to put those two together and do some great work on our building. The Provo Area Office needed to be assessed because all buildings over 5,000 square feet needed to be assessed. We'd already budgeted quite a bit of money to do retrofitting. And so that money that we'd already budgeted provided the seed money then to receive some additional funds that were backing up the sustainable building effort. And that's really the way that we were able to get it done. The guiding principles are government-wide guidance for the construction of new buildings, for the upgrade of existing buildings. They guide us not only in our construction, remodeling efforts, replacement efforts, but also in the way that we do business, in terms of procurement, in terms of waste management. They've been very helpful to us in this effort, particularly with upgrading the building, upgrading the building systems.
Utah ranks as one of the driest states in the nation, and to make better use of what limited water is available, the Provo Area Office decided to go with a less water consumptive design in the irrigation system and the landscaping. For landscaping, we decided to switch out the grassy areas that we had here. We had large grassy areas in the front and sides of the building and in the back, and replace that with xeriscaping. And for the irrigation system, we switched out what was sprinkler heads that watered large areas for the grass with a drip irrigation system. And these measures were used to reduce the amount of water that we were using. During the summer months, we were using about 1 million gallons of water, which would be equivalent to, you take a swimming pool that's 267 feet long by 50 feet wide by 10 feet deep, and that's the amount of water we were using each month.
In addition to the folks who made up the team that was responsible for the changes that we've made to the building, we tapped a wide range of other capabilities that we have in this office to help us with our effort. We have a canal automation team. This is a group that does innovative work in terms of automating canals in a low-cost way. It's that team that designed our rain capture system. And they relied upon our construction crew to bring in the heavy equipment operators to do that work. So it's really, even beyond the team, been a collaborative effort.
Starting with about 5 or 6 years ago, we replaced the roof. The roof needed some maintenance, and in part of that replacement, we looked at the energy efficiency options, and one of the first things that we did was reducing the energy demands on the building by changing out the roof, which added a white reflective coating and then also added an insulation to the roof. There are these wave designs that are built into the roof, provide aesthetically pleasing values from the outside, and also it allows natural light into the building with the windows, but it causes some challenges with the heating because this warm air during the winter then rises into these higher portions of the building, and these higher portions are not everywhere in the building, so you have a temperature differential that's really warm in these higher areas. The chillers, they have a refrigerant that's in the system, and those chillers It's a self-contained system with the piping and the chilled coils that contain the refrigerant. And so it goes out to the west side of the building where these new chiller compressors are located, and that's where the fluid is basically recycled through the system on a continual basis to provide the cool air for the building. Previously we had a single large boiler, and it has been replaced with 2 high efficiency smaller boilers so that they can operate independently as needed based on the heating demands of the building. One of the really important aspects of changing out the LED lights from the fluorescents was the actual controls for these. The lights in the building previously were operated on an antiquated timing system. We'd had people in offices that would have lights turn off intermittently, and so part of the process of doing this and improving the lighting system in the building was to put in a new control system that would allow the lights to be controlled based on occupancy. The lights also have the additional feature that we'd planned for, knowing that we were going to go to LED lights which have the capability to dim. We installed sensors and relays that would allow dimming capabilities based on available daylight. Lights oftentimes in the building now will be off if there's sufficient light from the windows outside. So the solar panels, the project there entailed installing up to what the city would allow for the Provo City requirements. They would allow up to 25 kilowatts of power that we could provide. And so the motivation for us to install that was for energy reduction and to provide a clean, renewable energy source here for the building and to meet the guiding principles. We piggybacked off of the landscaping and xeriscaping project that was done, and at the same time as they were removing the grass in the back of our building, we installed 108 solar panels to provide the 25 kilowatts worth of power. Ran the conduits and the necessary wiring into the building, and it all ties into the grid through the city's distribution system. And so there's a net meter that was installed as part of that. And currently, with the system that we have, on a nice, cool, sunny day, we'll provide up to about 24 kilowatts of power on the net after the efficiencies of the solar panels. The system itself is the inverters. There's 3 inverters that are installed as part of the solar system. The inverters are telling us that we have reduced our CO2 emissions by 140,000 pounds at this point. We have seen a reduction in our utility bills in conjunction with the solar panels, the HVAC system improvements, the lighting improvements. We've reduced our energy bills anywhere from 30% up to 50% depending on the time of year and the heating and cooling demands that are needed on the building. And it's been a huge benefit to the office that way.
The creativity and leadership really came from the team. It really didn't come from the upper management of the office. We turned it over to them, and they provided that. We brought together a group of great people with a wide range of skills.
The formation of a green team was a requirement of meeting the guiding principles. So we had a good mix of people on the team between staff and managers, which made it a lot easier for the job to get done and things to get moving forward because we had buy-in from both sides. The rest of the staff learned about the building's features through all employees meetings that we would have, where the upgrades were presented to the staff and basically described what the reason we were doing them and gave an overview of what we were going to be doing. And then, as the new features were installed, we would get questions from staff on what we were doing and why we were doing it, and those were other ways that the staff was involved in the process.
I wasn't excited about the project. Upgrading the building was going to be expensive. It was going to take a good chunk of our budget, a good chunk of our money. And in terms of a cost-benefit analysis, I spent a lot of time concerned about that. I show this building off to visitors and talk to them about our rain capture and our change in our landscaping, the changes that we've made in the heating and air conditioning system, the solar panels that we have out back. This has been a great effort. Our effort on the building has received a Federal Energy and Water Management Award, a government-wide award for the efforts that our employees here in Provo have done. We're really pleased with that, and it's at this stage that I'd like to toss a little confetti into the air in celebration of what they've done and what they've received. But I like the fact that the building becomes a symbol of what we expect of our partners. Provo Area Office has 17 projects. That means we've got, with our transferred works, more than 17 partner organizations. We expect of them efforts toward conservation. We expect them to be responsible with respect to operations, maintenance, and replacement. And now we reside in a building that exemplifies all of those things. And I feel like this place that we do work now is consistent with our expectations and is consistent with our mission in terms of both water and power.